All right, here we go again. Buckle up, rough roads ahead. So they're in the middle of the whole art project, and if you read scripture, you'll see the same pattern of events occurring to like Zerubbabel and other people. And of course, they didn't write down everything. So I left out a certain measurement. I forgot that the top board I was going to build down about it's 3/4 of an inch, so a total of 2 inches. Back this up here. Let this person through. A total of 2 inches, and I didn't. Well, it goes like this. I thought I was going to be able to make the base 4 inches deep, and it was only going to be at first actually only about an inch and a half, and then I think extended it to 3 inches, and then so I actually have the space. It's no big problem, right, but I have to do some adjustment. But I don't know. I'm going to look at it later. I might not have to. Well, I planned to do it a certain way, and then I changed it, and now I have to go back to doing it the other way. But it doesn't matter. It's just the addition. I'll have the top, then I'll have furring strips, 2 inch furring strips that lifts the top 2 inches or an inch and a half. It actually lifts it an inch and a half because it's already 3/4. So when I was calculating everything, I did it a little different than I was going to do because I put 3/4 for the top of the arc, like the fireplace part, and it's actually going to be 2 inches, or actually probably 2 1/4 inches. And then in front of the furring strip is going to be, like a cover piece. So it's actually probably better to do it the way I'm doing it, or do it that way. Heal this lady here. No, just a lot of people backing Trump are criminals. It's just financial criminals, and that's how it is. Let me heal these people. What's happening is people from the retirement place are out, and from the other place, and I can tell that some of them are kind of losing their bearing a little bit. Keep healing them. No, I don't heal people as penance. That's one of their rumors that they put out. So a lot of them are just crime bosses, and they tell you that what they did is they had some people within the government, but they're interfering in the government. They're not really part of the government. They're not like the higher level of security or higher level of investigation or a higher level of accountability for the government. They're criminal enterprise. They're narcotics distributors, sex traffickers. They've been in Silicon Valley since the beginning. If you look into some of their histories, I guarantee you'll see screwy money. And what it is, they were importing narcotics. That's how they made some of their money. And then they launched the venture and launder it in their venture. Yeah, I just want to keep going, right? I mean, your behavior says that you're organized crime, racketeering. No, I don't want to hear that you're the Christians of the world or the higher morality. In the 90s, they were having orgies, using narcotics, importing prostitutes from foreign nations, importing narcotics from foreign nations. And they told us they were a higher order and they were here to police the government. Now, some people are still in there with them, but those were the people that were killing out their coworkers, creating an environment where the coworker couldn't pass an investigation. Again, the same piece of shit thing that organized crime and racketeering does. So they use private investigators and law enforcement. Why? Oh, because this is an official action of government. But it's almost like when you look at them, it's like they're disrespecting the entire process of law enforcement. Like it's ha 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 ha. You know, like we're the criminals and now we're getting you. But what happened is, I mean, even if Trump wins, it's not going to go the way they think it's going to go. Trump will be so encumbered. You know, the first presidency was easy compared to what this is going to be. He's not going to get where he thinks he's going to get because he can't. The laws governing federal employees do not allow Trump and Project, what's it, 2095 or whatever it is, 2025, whatever. It doesn't allow it to happen. Military a little bit, but not in the way that he thinks he's going to do it. Now, what it is, they have a dossier on everybody. And, you know, it doesn't matter what the dossier actually says. They mischaracterize it. And vice versa for themselves. So what their plan would be to use the dossier against somebody. And then also surreptitiously drug, use strong arming, psychological torture to push people out. Not talking about a single bit of crime to stop Trump. Trump is speaking about, as I told you, Trump has already articulated several criminal conspiracies. That when he takes office, he's interested in criminal conspiracies. Now, what he thinks is funny is that he's only going to say it so much, and then it'll trickle down, and other people will hear it that he's already indoctrinated, and they'll do it. But that's not going to fly, I'll tell you that. Well, you know, the FBI can arrest the Supreme Court. I'll just tell you that. we'll leave it at that. They've already committed fraud. I mean, we're trying to be nice. We're trying to move it along slowly so everybody has a place in the nation instead of what Trump's going to do is consolidate wealth. He doesn't give a shit. He's got 4 years to do whatever he wants because he doesn't have to get reelected. That was his plan the first time around anyway, but he started early. That's all he's going to do is consolidate. Well, he can give a shit about anybody eating, drinking, having life. The labor unions are being controlled by their bosses at this point because what are they doing? They're supporting Trump. Why? Because he supports criminality. Now, I'm not saying every labor union. Obviously, some of the labor unions are saying, what the hell's going on here? Well, what's going on is your big guy, Longshoreman, he's a crook like Trump and a lifelong crook. You see how they speak highly of one another in fictitious fantasy terms? He was hoping to destroy Kamala Harris's chances. While saying that he's saving the union. Right. The FBI looks like it's doing the same thing, but the latest one may have been a rumor. I have to go research it better. There's a lot of disinformation being used. You know, disinformation is covered under freedom of speech. You can lie all day, generally, if you're fundraising on the lie, then you should be actually charged for fraud. And that's something that they need to move on pretty soon because that's where it comes from. I told them years ago, you have to start speaking to all these people that are raising money on fraud because it's not legal. It's politics. It's not politics. It's fraud. So you didn't act on it when I told you to. So now it's everywhere. So again, we can deal with that better than we can deal with all of that being a psychological test to see how radicalized the people could become. Because what they're doing is could be trying to figure out if Kamala Harris wins, if and when most likely, what to do. I 100% believe the Democrats will freak out if Trump wins. But why not? He threatened 80 million of them with incarceration for simply donating to Kamala Harris. I mean, Trump doesn't live in a vacuum. I mean, yes, you want to buy his socks so you can sniff them because it makes you high. You want to buy his used socks to get that Trump odor in your nostrils. It makes you euphoric. And the rest of the cult euphoric. Kamala Harris has not threatened a single Republican, but for people that are committing fraud. So again, radicalization is not legal. The problem is what happened is, again, they take over the government by these criminal enterprises. And of course, Putin was one of them. And maybe, I don't know if a single person has money in this country any longer, like big money, if they're not approved by Vladimir Putin and Xi. I don't know. I mean, it's probably a large number that they have given money to through the system of people that I speak about. You can go through the ranks of the FBI because your big boss is a Soviet who made millions of dollars from Soviets, but stayed within the shadow system. The one guy came out of the shadow system, and they charged him. Next thing you know, you're making what? $500,000 for some corporation because you do the crazy shit for them. Do they need enforcers for the criminal enterprise? That's real. The big transfer of wealth to criminal enterprise, even from the government.